For Cajun cooking, yes, a nice brown roux is good. But for this, we want what's called a yellow roux. Okay. So there I have, I'll add just a little bit more flour. Okay. Now here's a half and half. This is a classic bechamel. It's very simple. This is, as I said, a winter meal. So it has a lot of ingredients that are more or less comforting. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to this. Okay. Just enough. I happen to like salt, but just enough. Now as you're whisking, this will start to thicken up. And what happens is when you thicken it, the starch in the flour prevents the protein molecules from lining up into a chain, and so you don't make cheese, you actually keep a sauce that's nice and smooth. See, it's getting thicker. See how nice and thick that is? It's getting there. This is going to be fairly rich. Here I have a little bit of champagne. I'll add maybe 3/4 of a cup. And I was using 2 cups of half and half, approximately. Okay, see that's nice and thick. Now what I want to do is get a little bit more of my vegetable stock. Thin this out a little bit. I don't want it, I want it thick but not really, really terribly thick. This is a classic sauce. This is something that you get from the Escoffier cookbook. There's a lot of variations of this sauce. Some people add tomato paste to this to make an aurora sauce. You could add red wine, white wine. You can add almost anything to this to make a variation. Now see, this is about the thickness that I like for this dish. Whoa, let's pour it on the stove. Let's pour it anywhere. Okay, once this comes back to a boil, I lower it just a little bit. I want to let it cook just a little while, just to cook off the alcohol from the champagne. If you don't cook the alcohol off the champagne, it has just a very slight bitter taste. You don't want that. At least I don't want it. If you like bitter tastes, then it's something good for you. I don't prefer it. See how nice and smooth it is? See, if you thicken the sauce first, it won't curdle. Okay? I'm going to add just a tiny bit more salt. I'm a lover of salt. Actually. All right. There you are, bechamel sauce. Very quick, very easy. Okay? There you go. All right, now I will spoon the sauce. So you can smell the little bit earthy smell of the champagne. It's a really nice sauce. I'll cover these guys with this. Okay, now I'll get this, clean this off so this does not burn in the oven. Okay. And I can bake these maybe 15-20 minutes in a 350-degree oven. Okay, clean up that. I got sauce on the sides. Don't like that to burn. So I'm going to pop this in the oven. And then in about 10 or 15 minutes, we'll pull it out and see how it looks. All right, so that's the first step. That's our entree. I'm going to be back in a second, and we'll do our second, or actually the first side dish, which is a lima bean and carrot dish with dill butter. Very good. Okay, now I have some lima beans right here, some carrots. Now these lima beans, these lima beans are frozen. So I took the package, I confess, I took the package and I blanched these lima beans for maybe 5 or 10 minutes or so. You can use canned. If you have 4 or 5 hours, you can get some dried lima beans and put them in maybe a couple of cups of lima beans in 4 or 5 quarts of water. Boil them for 4 hours. I don't have 4 hours, so I'm using the frozen ones, which I think are a little better than the canned. All right, I'm going to take about a tablespoon or so of butter. Okay, heat that up. I have some carrots that I sliced and I blanched, and these are just cooked, just tender, not overcooked. Don't overcook them. Okay, I'm heating up my butter now. Okay, I'm going to take dill. All right, teaspoon of dill. And I cook that just for a couple of seconds in the butter. And the heat of the butter will bring out the flavor of the dill. There's a volatile oil in the leaves of the dill. That's what takes the flavor. So now I'm just going to saute these vegetables real quick. What I like about this is the contrast of color, the orange and the pale green. A little bit of pepper, half a teaspoon of pepper, tiny bit of salt. Okay, maybe a quarter teaspoon of salt. All right? This dish is a snap. So easy. Once you get the vegetables prepared, which you can do ahead of time, you can do it an hour ahead of time, a day ahead of time. Can't plan too far ahead. 3-4 weeks is too much, but you can do this a little bit ahead of time. Have these ready. Now I need to get them hot. Okay. A little bit more butter. Just maybe a teaspoon more. This is not your bathing suit food. You know, this is comfort food. This is going to make you feel warm in the winter. So you want to use enough butter to make yourself feel good. Okay. This dish is done. So next, follow me, and I will do the next dish in this meal, which is garlic mashed potatoes. Okay, I have some cooked potatoes, well done. I have a little bit of fresh garlic. I'm going to use 1 clove, fresh garlic. Okay. And I'll use 2. Go wild. These are small. Okay. I'll take these, chop them up. Give it a coarse chop. You can also saute these in a little bit of olive oil. For this dish, I like the raw garlic. Okay, I take the side of the knife, mash it up. That breaks it up. That brings out all the flavor of the garlic. 2 cloves of garlic into my potatoes. And I have here olive oil. Okay, tablespoon of olive oil. Goes with the garlic nicely. And I take this tool. Don't mash your potatoes in a mixer. Don't put them in an electric mixer and say, ah, well, that's good. I'll mash the potatoes while I'm doing something else. Don't do that. The reason is there's a protein in the potatoes, and especially with your warm potatoes, you put them into a mixer and you end up with gum. They get really, really gummy, and it happens really fast, and there's nothing you can do then. There's no bringing it back. Okay, so mash your potatoes by hand. It's the way to do it. Okay, it doesn't take that long. It's not that hard. We're done. Okay, you can add a little bit of milk if you like to these.